Go.
Welcome in to another episode of Gator Diamond Pod for my co-host Adrian. Adrian, this week you were able to celebrate a birthday. We were actually talking about that. The great what? You're halfway to 151.
5-1.
You're getting even closer now.
Passed. We already
One,
passed the
one,
halfway to 100.
yep, 1 year more than that. But how was your week? How was you able to celebrate
It's all
Gators
right.
going 4-1 as
It's
well?
4-1. It's been bad. It's been bad weather here in Gainesville though, man. It's been rainy, then cold. Then you think like it might clear up with the sun and stuff like that. But no, man, it was cold and rainy again today. So we needed to clear up. I'm ready for spring, Chris. Especially with the time change now, I'm ready for spring ready.
You
I'm
want to
done with
know?
this cold weather.
You want to know a fun fact?
Go for
Here,
it.
here in Korea, we don't actually have a time change. So I never have to worry about
Hmm.
that. That's
I
actually
thought
the funny thing.
I thought we were gonna get rid of this time change like a while ago, so I don't know what's going on, man. I got to contact my congressman or something.
You think they'll
Let's
ever
get
get rid
going,
of
bro.
you think they'll ever
Huh?
get rid of it though? One quick thing. You
I
think they'll
don't know.
ever is it
There's always
really
people that don't like it. I mean, there's people on both sides, like, school parents and stuff like that, don't like to take their school age kids to school in the middle of the night, basically. It's pitch black over there. You drive now at 7 o'clock in the morning and it's pitch black. There's kids waiting at the bus stop and stuff like that. So that's why they do the time change also now. And but who knows, man. But I personally like this time where it gets late. I mean, it gets nighttime late. I like
hmm
that. I definitely prefer that. I think most
hmm
people do. So we'll
Yeah.
see. Let's get
Yeah,
to it,
I
though.
yeah, let's get to it. Last week Florida went 4-1. They went back-to-back losses against Miami on Sunday and then a loss.
I predicted the 4-1 loss to UCF.
Yep, you won the prediction on that. I'm always gonna be optimistic, and you never want to lose a midweek to a team like UCF. But maybe UCF is just good. Maybe they're good this year. Maybe that can boost our RPI. That's a good thing when you look at teams that Florida play in midweek, and we'll get into another really good midweek game this week. But RPIs will just help Florida a lot, even in losses. People really go down on our losses in midweek, but it only helps our RPI because you play teams like Stetson, FAU, and UCF, and it only boosts our RPI. It's not like we're losing to teams that are pretty much community colleges or teams that are not the caliber. Probably that's just the state of Florida. You're talking great competition. Guys can go anywhere, play anywhere, and yeah. So Florida ended up losing 13-3. Some people say it was a run rule, but it really wasn't. Florida lost in the I mean, they still lost by 10. Um, but really dissecting it, I thought the game was close until it wasn't. I thought Matthew Jenkins weathered the storm after the first inning really well and was able to give
Hmm.
you still, maybe he didn't go that fourth inning or well, he went into the fourth inning, wasn't able to get out of it. He ran into a little bit of trouble. They tried to bring Luke McNeely in with 2 outs and ended up giving up that 0-2 fastball for a base hit, and that got their going. Ended up only going 1 2/3, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, but 3 runs total, 2 strikeouts, and then Nico Jansen went an inning of a third, or no, went a third of an inning, 3 hits, 4 earned runs. The game just got away, and I thought we could really see that going into probably the sixth, seventh, and eighth inning. It was only 2-1, 2-2 for a while. I thought Florida could hang in a little bit, but I just thought there was really not that many great at bats through the middle
Hmm.
parts of the game. I thought at the beginning of the game, Florida was doing well. We had to get hits, but once they switched, once they took out their starter Angelo Smith and went into Dominic Castellano, he really just shut Florida down. And it's
Hmm.
weird because I mean he doesn't throw hard, but his stuff just absolutely devastated Florida.
Yeah.
And then Alex
Remember,
Galvin as well.
yeah. Remember we had talked about, I just wanted to see if Sully went with the tier one bullpen guys, right?
hmm
And you know what, man? He did. Not only did he go with the tier one guys on Tuesday, but then also on Wednesday, right? So Sully went to win these games. A lot of it was to win these midweek games, and then a probably more of it was who we were playing on the weekend, Harvard, and we'll talk
Hmm.
about that later on. But Sully went for the win, but so did UCF, right? Because that guy Castellano, is it? I believe he's their best guy coming
Hmm.
out of the pen. So they
They is
went, yeah. So they also went to beat us, man. They went for the win there also. They weren't saving nobody in their pen. Uh, Chris, I got jotted down here. UCF just wants these games more, man. What's that? Six in a row?
6 in a row. We have not beat them since 2017. How is
Yeah,
that
man. They
possible?
just
Like
want them more, dude.
I don't
They
like
just want
sometimes
them
it's just
more.
a
They just want it.
it's it's
Like,
mind-boggling
look,
stats.
like you said, they have better at bats. It seemed like we gave away some at bats here and there, like a couple 2 or 3 innings in a row where like some quick at bats, quick innings, 1, 2, 3 innings, so I don't know. It just looks like they wanted more. Hitting was weak that game. The most disappointing thing to me, obviously, was McNeely. I hate
Hmm.
to put it on him, but a lot's expected of him this year, Chris. And for the Gators to be able to have the best team that they're able to have, he's got to be able to be that mid-game bridge to Philpott. Philpott's looking really good, man. He's looking really good with his fastball, his changeup, but you need McNeely to take that role almost of what Fisher Jameson had last year, right? Fisher Jameson was that bridge to Neely, the other Neely, not McNeely, Neely. And that's what McNeely's got to be this year. And man, we're going to talk about his performance against Harvard, but needless to say, that's two straight rough performances for Luke McNeely. And that's not good going into Tennessee week going into Florida State tomorrow. So that was the most disappointing thing to me. I understand if Sully had gone with the back end of the bullpen and that game had gotten away from you then, that's one thing. But Sully went with what's supposed to be one of his top arms coming out of that bullpen. One of
Hmm.
his first guys that he's going to be looking at in an SEC weekend, and he just, he missed an 0-2 fastball by 2 feet, and then he hung a curveball, a slider, and boom, that guy hits the home run on that one. The guy he misses the 0-2 pitch by 2 feet on was like a buck
It was the
50 hitter.
a-hole. That was the a-hole.
Yeah, a hitter. So, he's got to do better than that, Chris, especially this year. This is his sophomore year. His growing pains were last year. We're gonna
Hmm.
have growing pains this year with Nico, with C-Rod. Why? Because they're freshmen, C-Rod's technically a redshirt freshman, but same thing. Those are the guys we're gonna have growing pains this year with, right? Well, we had those with Luke last year. He's got to produce for you. If not, you're just not gonna, have a successful season as you want to have, Chris.
Yeah, it was a weird pitch sequence too because he threw two straight sliders to start the at bat, and they were really good sliders. And then you just straight up miss a fastball by 2 feet, and it's just sometimes you're just like, how do you
He's
how do
got
you
unbelievable
like
stuff.
he's got the
He's got
stuff.
great stuff. Sometimes he looks like he's unhittable. When he's on and he's throwing strikes and he's in that groove, you just see the confidence of his on the mound. And then just all of a sudden, he might miss a pitch, something might happen in the field, and he just really loses it really quick. So is that consistency level? Is that concentration level? Is the confidence level? I mean, if you could get it, if he could get to where he always feels the way he feels when he looks unhittable, guy's gonna be lights out. But it's to get to that point with more consistency, and obviously he's just not there always, man.
I think if we're gonna have growing pains with him, we need to have it now, and it needs to be squashed now and get rid of it now.
Mm.
But we shouldn't be having growing pains at all. We should be talking a guy like Aiden King or like you guys C-Rod or somebody having growing pains. But look at them. I mean, look at Aiden King. The guy looks, I mean, pretty much unhittable right now. And we'll talk about his performance against Harvard. in a little bit about that. But it's just sometimes it's just mind boggling because we had the same problem with Slater last year.
Hmm.
We had the
Yep.
same problems with Slater as a sophomore, not a
Yes.
freshman. I'm not throwing shade at this, but I'm saying we're running into some of these problems that we shouldn't be having with these guys, and we're having it. It's it's guys that you look for to step up that need to be able to get it done because when you talk about these big series like we have coming up, they're going to be used a lot. And if they're not performing, then we're already going to talk about some guys that are hurt, and it's already hurting our pitching, and it's you need them to be able to step up, bridge the gaps, not force so much on the starting pitching and in the back end of the bullpen. You need to be able to bridge that gap always. Because I mean, look at UCF. You know when Castellano comes in, you know what he's going to give you. He's going to give you that good stuff, 2 to 3 innings. I'll be able to shut down teams. But needless to
He was
say,
tough.
needless to say, he was tough, and I thought also Alex Galvin was really tough for us as well. I mean, he went 3 and 2. He went 3 innings, only giving up 1 hit and 5 strikeouts. Um,
Yeah. By that time, the game was out of hand already, and we pretty much just were ready to hop back on
Packed
the
the
bus.
bags.
Get back on the bus, right? They took a
Right.
bus, I take it.
It's only in what an hour and a half drive, I think, two
Yeah.
hours,
But
something
at
like
least
that.
FAU, a good little rebound game, no?
Yeah, FAU. I thought Billy Barlow got the start, and I thought I was gonna have to do some research the next day because I didn't get to watch that game because I had an important meeting the next day, so I had to get some rest. But I thought we were about to get our first midweek quality start, and I was about to have to go look up some stats of when the last time. And this is a question for the next podcast, and I will find the answer for this. When is the last time we had a quality midweek start?
Hmm.
That's a good question. When's the last time we had a midweek guy go 6 innings, three earned runs or less? I didn't find out
Can't
the
remember.
answer on that yet, but
Can't remember off the top of my head. It definitely wasn't last year. I'll be shocked if it was last year.
I don't even think it's been in the last 4 years. When's the last time we ran out of guys 6 innings in a midweek game?
Honestly, it was probably back when Coar was throwing in the midweeks back then, his freshman year. He was pretty dominant his freshman year, Jackson Coar. And that's
Mm-hmm.
when you knew he was going to be really good, you know? It's probably been since back then, man. I wouldn't doubt it.
Mm-hmm. But let's get into Fort Atlantic. Yeah, Barlow went 5 and 1/3, 4 hits, no earned runs. Gators staff gave up no earned runs. Both their runs given up were off of errors. Gators had 2 errors in the game. He's able to
Hmm.
get you five flyouts, 4 groundouts. Really impressive though. 5 and 1/3, 71 pitches. Really
Yeah.
good, really effective. That's only 14 pitches an inning. When you look at a starter, you want to go 15 pitches or less an inning. Especially with guys like strikeouts like Liam Peterson, maybe you can ride that 17 pitch innings a little bit because you know they're just gonna be throwing strikes and they're gonna have to locate pitch as well because they strike out a lot more guys in that. And then you got Frank Menendez that does a really good job again, giving you 1 2/3, 3 strikeouts. Phil Pot, like you already talked about, has been lights out. He gave you another 2 innings, 1 hit, and a strikeout with that. But it really wasn't. It was a really close game for a while. Pretty much the whole game. It was
Well,
3-0, fourth inning, 3-2
yeah.
in the seventh.
Well, couple things. FAU's a good ball club,
They are.
right?
They already beat Miami.
Yeah, they beat Miami in a midweek. They beat UCF in a midweek. So they're a good ball club. They're probably a regional team, man. I think that they make a regional, Chris. Um, our defense was shoddy. Our defense was shoddy, and our margin for error is not as big as it's been in the past, man. We got to play solid defense. We got to pitch good. We got to have situational hitting. That's how we're going to win ball games, especially in the SEC. The defense was shoddy. Sully made a post-game comment on that. He said that there's a fine balance with, it's great having the depth that the Gators had, which is getting kind of, you know, bit into a little bit here with the injuries to Kyle Jones and Curlin and stuff like that. But he's like, you got to find that balance between getting the offensive bats in the lineup, but not sacrificing too much defense for it, right?
Hmm.
So he made that comment, so he's cognizant of that, and he's trying to find that balance. Um, I think he's going to probably settle into a lineup here soon. He still even said after one of the Harvard games, he still said that the lineup's going to be looking like about solid, like seven regulars, seven
And then two
solid
rotating.
regulars, and then two kind of mix and match pitching matchups and stuff like that. So that's what he hopes that the lineup's going to settle into. But yeah, but the defense was shoddy. Barlow was the best he's been so far early on this season. It's the best he's looked. And you're going to need him to do that, man. You're going to need him to do that. He's going to get the start against FSU now. It was announced today, so we'll see. But all in all, hey, they got the win. They split the midweeks, and that's kind of what I expected, what I predicted. So
You did predict that. And then got 4-0 or 4-1. So what? You predicted 4-1, right?
for the week, yeah, man, definitely a sweep
So
of Harvard, man.
so you lead what 1-0 right now in predictions, we can
Yeah,
say.
we'll see.
We'll see about that. Let's get into Harvard. We briefly touched on them last week for a reason. And the reason was is they just weren't a really good team. They came in with only playing 6 games, six
Hmm.
neutral games compared to Florida had been at what I think 13 games. So Florida had a little advantage of games played, but I mean you just see the team comparison, team caliber was just totally different. I think they came into the game with 67 strikeouts in in 6 games. So they were averaging almost 10 to 11 strikeouts a game, and Florida really put it on them, and especially in the first game.
Yeah, Harvard was what we thought they were. Okay, the worst team on Florida's schedule, and that's including every midweek game. I think we play Bethune-Cookman. I Do we play FAMU? I don't know if we do or not, but those two are usually, you know, the teams that are considered the worst on our schedule normally. Both of those teams are better than Harvard by far, especially Bethune. Bethune's got a pretty good program actually.
Yeah,
So,
we play Bethune next week. Oh
okay.
no, not
So,
Bethune. I meant Florida A&M. FAMU.
FAMU, all right. So it was who we thought they were going to be. So Florida took care of business there. Now, with that being said, there were two or three big storylines that came out of that Harvard series, right? First of all, Aiden King's first career start. Okay, even though Harvard was who they are, fine, but Aiden King looked really good, man. You got his stats there
Yeah, I
for
do.
for
Let's just
go
talk
for it.
about this for a second. 75 pitches through a 6 innings of appearance for him. That is
Very efficient.
about 12.5 pitches an inning. What did I say? For a starting pitcher, 15 pitches an inning is pretty good. He gave you 75 pitches through 6 innings. Really good. 6 innings, 2 hits, only one walk, 8 strikeouts,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
efficient.
right.
He was efficient. Got the ball. He had a pace, and he went. And he went with it, and he was able to be able to control the game. And you when you talk about a starting pitcher, be able to come in on a Saturday, be able to, it doesn't matter which team you play, control the at bats, control the game. The game is yours if you can control. And he controlled really well as a freshman.
Another thing that I noticed about him too was that at at least at Florida, obviously, I don't know about high school. And in high school, probably he didn't pitch much more than what he did Saturday, but he had the most innings that he had pitched, and by far the most pitches he had pitched in a Gator uniform. And his one of his last pitches was still 94, which was what he did in the first inning. Okay, so he maintained his velo throughout his 75 pitches, which is outstanding for him. Okay, his velo never dropped off. Um, man, he's so mature for his age, Chris. He's he's at he's so advanced. When you see a kid like that, just 18, true freshman, his composure on the mound, he doesn't, have those roller coaster rides. Now, he's gonna have a bad outing, obviously, one of these days, okay? He's gonna have a bad outing. It could be this weekend, who knows? Hope Hopefully not. But his composure on that mound is so far ahead of his years, man, that it's really something to see, man. And he's got really good stuff too, Chris, and it's only going to get better, you know? So I'm really excited to see his career here, man. Another storyline that came out of this game is Tybo. Ty Evans had a very good Sunday. Hopefully that breakout game that he had sets him now, hopefully into that. We've always said that Tybo is a streaky hitter, man. When he gets hot, he could carry you for 3 or 4 weeks. Okay.
Hmm.
When he's cold, he's cold. That's just the way his career's been. He hasn't had a complete season yet, in which he's been able to play because he's been always injured. He's had a rough go about it, man. So but when he's hot, man, he could carry you for a month. So hopefully that game that he had on Sunday gets him going. Because if you could add his bat, keep him where he's at, keep him in the 8-9 hole, whatever, it's no big deal. If you can have him in the 8-9 hole and he gets hot for you, that's gonna be do wonders for your lineup, man. Um, we talked about McNeely had a bad outing against Harvard. They put it to him. I mean, they hit him hard. His location was awful, was just right smack in the middle of the plate. And Harvard was just teeing off on him. So Luke's got to get that squared away, man. Or else, Sully's gonna have to find somebody else, honestly. So, and he's probably already thinking about, C-Rod, maybe Caden McDonald. Who else can I trust? Right-handed arm coming out of that bullpen for the middle innings of an SEC ball game. Because if it's not McNeely, it's got. Because if it's not Aiden King right now, see, that's what people don't understand about the situation with Coppola. Some, I saw some tweets, even some national writers, saying how, Aiden King the Gators might be better off with Aiden King as the weekend starter instead of Pierce Coppola. Well, Aiden King might end up in the long run having better numbers than Pierce Capolo. Who knows? Okay. But what that does to your team, what that does to to your bullpen is devastating because Aiden King was going to be a monster coming out of that bullpen in an SEC weekend. Okay. He was just going to be lights out, give you 2 innings of hopefully scoreless baseball and bridge you to Philpott, along with Frankie, and you were hoping along with McNeely. But now you lost that. Okay, now King is going to be in the starting rotation for the who knows for the foreseeable future or for the rest of the season. Who knows, man? The situation with Pierce. So that's what that injury does there. Okay, it weakens your bullpen big time. So I'm sure Sully's already planning. He's thinking who else he could, you know, who else gives him that confidence for the SEC weekends. So hopefully it's McNeely, man. Hopefully I'm sure Sully's gonna go to Luke McNeely. He's gonna go to him like Friday or Saturday at Tennessee, fifth, sixth inning. He's got to go to the bullpen.
You
He's
still
probably
got to
gonna
go to
go to
him.
McNeely.
You still
He's
got to
gonna go to
trust. Like
McNeely.
you gotta believe that he can be able to get out of his slumps and be able to pitch his way out of it. I think that's the only way you really can get boost your confidence as a pitcher is to pitch your way out of a slump. Be time off is never going to help you because it's only going to hurt you because you're not getting your innings pitched. You're not being able to get those mixes. Bullpens, being able to throw in your bullpen sessions during the week does not translate to having an actual batter like a Gavin Killiam in the lineup or something like that. You got to just be able
Hmm.
to just battle your slumps the way it is. You just battle it on the mound.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that's how
And
I look
then
at it.
Yeah, and then lastly, the last thing about the Harvard series is Sully's comments about the injuries, man.
Slipped
He
up.
mentioned in his post-game comment
He slipped up.
Saturday or Sunday or something like that about Frankie. Hope about Frankie being injured. He lumped them in the same sentence with Clemente about hopefully getting him back for the Tennessee weekend, but I hadn't heard anything about Frankie. being injured.
Hmm.
Had you heard anything about him? I haven't heard nothing.
No, he just pitched against Florida Atlantic. So you were thinking that he's fine. Maybe something wants to happen in the Florida Atlantic series or
He
Florida Atlantic
didn't
game.
pitch. He didn't pitch against Harvard. He
Yeah.
didn't pitch in the Harvard series. So we'll see, man. I mean, you need Frank Menendez. Okay.
Because we just don't
So,
have we don't have, he was our dominant lefty arm out of the
oh
pen.
yeah.
I'm not saying Nico isn't dominant, but I'm saying a guy like Menendez, you need to be able to come in for matchup situations. And now we're probably going to have to look towards a guy like Nico a little bit more. If
Well,
Frankie's hurt,
again, Frank is a sophomore. You had
right?
your growing pains with him last year, a
Hmm.
little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. And now this year, he was already feeling it. Okay. He was a guy that you could depend on right now. Nico is your true freshman. He's looked good one game, had a rough outing than the last, so he's doing more of the roller coaster thing that you would expect from a freshman. Okay, so that's why Frankie plays such an important role. So hopefully it's nothing serious, man. It didn't sound like it, okay? So hopefully he's fine. And then the situation with Clemente is his back. That's what
Back
Sully
soreness.
mentioned about back soreness. He took the weekend off. You really kind of need him for next weekend, to be honest with you. So
Hmm.
hopefully he's ready for Sunday against Tennessee.
Because you're looking
Pierce,
at, oh, go ahead. Yeah, Pierce.
no, no, go ahead, go
No,
ahead.
I'm saying because now you're looking at having to go with Matthew Jenkins because he already talked about if
Probably.
Clemente can't go in that second game, I'm going to go to Matthew Jenkins, and you can already tell he's starting to try to build him up into that starter role with the midweek game against UCF, and then
Yeah,
now he's already talking about that Sunday game against Harvard, and then if Clemente is not available in Tennessee, expect to see Matthew Jenkins in that Sunday role next Sunday.
yeah. Pierce is, he's from what's been said is he's looking for a second opinion, right?
Yep.
Is that and that's like never good. So I don't know anything about what's going on, but if I had to guess, honestly, I don't think we see Pierce again this year, if I had to guess. So,
Started with a
and then,
blister. Next
yeah,
thing you know, it's upper body.
mm, who knows, man? And then Curlin, Cade, I think Cade will be back soon, hopefully, right?
Yeah, they said
Shoulder
he's just
thing?
they said he's just pretty much rehabbing it, trying to get it fully 100%. Like now, we can talk about this a little bit. We have the rotation and depth. We have a guy like Nadeau that comes in, hits 444 in games he plays, and we can move Bozier there. We can move Lawson, which we've been doing. We have the talent to be able to move that now. Last year, it was he had to play through the injury. Now, Sully said, okay, you can take a few weeks off, get that at 100%, and let's get you back in that lineup.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question, Chris. Did we ever know when Kyle Jones got hurt? Because
So
remember, huh? Go
there's
ahead.
speculation, obviously, with the when he was rounding the bases, but then he came back from that. So I don't know if he was still 100, if he was not 100%, because he played against what Stetson in that Stetson game, and then he left the Stetson game and then never returned. So he tore his labrum, or I'm not. That's from what I heard. I don't have confirmation on that. But we just know he's out for the year. But he did something in the Stetson game. It had to have been. Or
But
was
it
he
was his
100%?
ankle, but it was his ankle, right? That he had been nursing for a while, that had him out of that took him
Was
out of
it
one game.
was it
Wasn't
the
his
ankle?
ankle?
What was it the ankle when he would when during the first because it was the first weekend against Air Force when he was rounding second, you could just see
Yeah,
him limping.
limping.
Was it?
So it was his. So that's what I'm saying. When did he hurt his shoulder? It must have been just something that he's been like just coming along. Like I don't
I don't
know,
know,
man.
but I've also been noticing when we've been sliding in on steals, a lot of guys have been getting hurt. A lot of guys come out wincing in pain when they've been getting up. I don't know if we're not we're sliding it correctly or what, but there's a lot of guys nursing some type of injuries you can see when they get
When
up.
it comes to these injuries, right? You know, I don't know how long a torn labrum, right? Like, let's say that that's what it is. that shoulder injury, you start feeling that coming, right? I
Hmm.
mean, I'll just be honest with you, Chris, and I know that you and me had talked about this, and I've talked to you about it, just haven't like talked about it on a podcast. But I was never a big fan of Kyle Jones's swing throughout the preseason, throughout fall. I just felt like if he was almost like a slap hitter. Um, Maybe his shoulder had been bothering him for a while. Who knows? I'm just completely speculating. So maybe his shoulder had been bothering him for a while. Who knows? But I circle this back to curling. Keep him out as long as you need to get him 100% healthy. Because remember last year with curling, he did all year with that hand issue. Remember? And it was a
Hmm.
problem for him the entire season.
Hmm.
Okay? Keep him out. Try and get him as close to 100%, not 100% as possible, especially that it's still early on in the season. Okay? You could go 2 or 3 SEC weekends, with what you got with Bozer at second, you got Nadu, Stripling. You can mix and match this, man. Okay? That these guys could play baseball. All right. So for curling, 100% curling is the most important thing, man. That's how I
Hmm.
see it, Chris.
Yeah, curling getting 100% is the main key. I want to talk about one thing. Luke Heyman's bat might be struggling this year, but I gotta say, I think he might be one of the best catchers if not in the country, but definitely in the SEC. Guys have only attempted 8 steals off of him, and he's throwing out 5 of them. If you look at most of the steals, it's all sliders, and he's still throwing guys out on pitches like that. Imagine like fastballs, being able to get pitch outs or something. I mean, he guns guys down. But 5 of 8 right now. What was it? What was it 2, 3 years ago? Who was catching? Who was catching then? I'm trying to think. And we were getting
2 or 3 years ago.
stolen off. We were getting stolen off of like it was never before. And I was trying to keep.
BT, BT
Okay, all
Raka.
right. Okay, BT, I
Oh
love you,
man.
buddy.
Oh, I
But
got
we
that
could not
hat.
throw.
That
We
hat. That hat was signed by BT right there in Omaha.
and
BT, I'm sorry, man. Chris, all right. His name is Chris, not me, buddy. I didn't say that.
not saying anything, but it's looking much better, and you can tell even with Brody's back there too, we're able to just throw guys out with
And that's
ease.
that Shelton dropped one over the weekend. He dropped one that
Mm,
was going to be a easy out, clear
mm-hmm,
out, and he just dropped it in the tag.
mm,
So Luke should probably be 6 for 8 on him, actually, if not
yep.
for that one. Okay. But yeah, man, Luke's doing a good job. Hopefully his back comes around a little bit because that's a
He
junior,
was
man. That's a
yeah, he was
junior.
down to two. He was at 210. Now he's up to 244. Hopefully the 2 home runs he had kind of
You
can
need him to start
boost.
producing more, man. Hopefully
We
he's just waiting
just
for SEC season to get hot.
once we start talking about these pitchers, hopefully so.
Let's
'Cause
go into the
there's
week, man. Talk to us, Chris. What we
so
got
what
this week?
in so what in November they call it rivalry week. Do we call this week rivalry week for baseball? I think we can call this one a rivalry week for us because we
And
have the number 1 team in the country this weekend. We got the number 5 team in the country, Florida State, tomorrow. Florida in Sully era is 35-22 against FSU, including winning 22 of the last 29. Doesn't that sound a little familiar of another podcast we have not too long ago? I think it was Miami. That was what,
true,
23 of
true.
31? Now we're looking at
But
22 of
that's
29.
the PL era, the pre-Link era. You know what I mean? The pre-Link era.
Mm-hmm.
What's Link Jarrett's numbers against Sully?
I don't know the number. I think they're because he got swept. So it's been back-to-back years. So 2 years ago, Florida swept them. This year, last year, FSU swept us. So I think
FSU swept us.
Link is maybe 4-3. I want to say 4 or 5. I don't know what happened previous
Hmm.
year. It's really
Oh, but
close. It's not like too far,
well, he's only been
but
there for 2 years, right? So if
yeah,
we
third
swept them,
season.
so it's
Yeah, so
so
three
then
and three.
it's 3-3. It's 3-3
So
then.
But what a job Link Jarrett's actually done. I don't like to give credit to FSU, but I mean, 87
A
and
good job,
48,
man. Good coach.
87 and 48 in 2 years.
Good. And by the way, Chris, you buried the lead, man, when you introduced the rivalry week here. These are the only two undefeated teams left in the nation, by the way. Okay? You forgot that part. You forgot to mention that.
Florida has the craziest thing they can do this week. Knock
That was the
out
team
the
you put out.
only, not knock out the only two undefeated teams. Hey, what did we say last week? I think we were talking about it. 2-2 week would be really good.
I said, if I could tell you right now, Gators go 2-2 this week, would you take it? I asked you that in the last
hmm
pod.
I would
Would you take
definitely
it
take.
now?
Yes,
Okay.
I would take
I
that
would take
because
it.
guess what? That means we take out both the undefeated records, and
Well, you
we
would hope.
you would hope.
I mean, you would 2-2. You could lose to FSU and win the series in Tennessee. They'll be 2-2. What would you
True.
want? What would you want? If I said 2-2, what would be the games that you want to win?
All right. My honest opinion right now, if I had to tell you, I want a close game against FSU. If it's a close one and we lose, I'm good with. I don't want to get blown out. I never like I'm telling you this right now on the record. I do not like a loss to FSU. I hate FSU with a passion. But I would take a close loss for a weekend series win. That goes
To
a long
Tennessee.
way.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
That goes that that goes a
It's
long
conference.
way because you play FSU two more times this year.
Yeah, of course. And
So you
it's
can still take the series.
And Tennessee is within your conference. So you always go for the conference, obviously. Always go for the conference. But
We always go for weekend series in general itself. You want 2 out of 3. Win it
yeah.
2 out of 3.
But let's preview FSU, man. Go. You
So
want to do
FSU is gonna
it?
start So I'm gonna highlight two guys because FSU likes to throw. They switch up their staff a little bit, but they like to go. Definitely, I've seen on their midweek they go with two guys. They go with Evan Crest, which they has been announced he will pitch. He has a 5 pitch mix, fastball, low 90 sinker. So it's going to be a battle of the sinkers. So Billy Barlow's is a sinker pitcher, and also Evan Crest is as well. Evan Crest is 2-0 with a 2.87 ERA, and I think Barlow's 1-0 with I think 2.5. That's crazy that I know the ERA. Actually, I have it right here. Billy Barlow, it has a 2.51 ERA in 3 games started this year. It's gonna be, can Billy Barlow get you that good start again like he did against Florida Atlantic? Can he keep the confidence going? Can he keep the ball down? Can he locate his slider? Can he be able to weather through the storm? Because there's going to be a storm at some point. FSU has probably one of the hottest hitting lineups, if not the next team that we play on the weekend has the best hitting lineup in the country. We got to be able to we got to be able to key in on guys that we know can hurt us. We've talked about this last year. We talked about this year. Guys, we preview. These are the guys that can't beat us. We can't give in to some of these guys from the FSU lineup that they have. I think Barlow needs to be locked in. We can always say that. But Evan Crush as well. We need to be able to stay off the low. Make him throw you that high sinker. Make it let it come in. Be able to take it. But also they like to throw Ben Barrett as well, low 90s, and get up to about 94. I think
He's
he
pitched against us the last couple of years, man.
yeah, I think
Barrett, Ben
so.
Barrett.
Ben
He's pitched
Barrett.
against us.
hmm
He's had
So those are
success.
yeah, he's another guy that I could see pitch for them as well tomorrow. Hopefully we can get into to Barrett or to Crest a little bit where they have to just run the bullpen pretty early. But
Hmm.
Crest looked good. Last outing, he went 6 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs. So he
Well,
got a quality start.
we need our bats to show up also, man, in the midweek here, especially a road game midweek.
hmm
We need the bats not to be like how they were against UCF. They need to, be alive on that bus ride up to Tallahassee and get off that bus swinging because FSU is going to be swinging, Chris. They got a team batting average of 347. They've hit 21 home runs on the season. They got five guys in their lineup over 1,000 OPS. Um, I'll highlight right off the bat Alex Lodice. I know he was one of your favorite players because you talked about him last year. You wish that we had got him when he was a transfer from
Well,
North Florida.
Him and
Uh-huh.
Nadeau played together in high school, and then he went to JU, right? Yeah, JU.
He
He
went
started
to
out at JU,
North Florida. No, he went to
North
North
Florida.
Florida.
Yep, North Florida.
He went to North Florida, then he ended up transferring to Florida State last year. So this is his second year at Florida State. He's a junior shortstop,
Hmm.
right-handed hitter, hits second in their lineup. He's hitting 444, Chris, with 4 home runs, 14 ribbies, and 1.207 OPS right now. Um, so he's pretty much their best hitter right now. Uh, they got a transfer, Chris. I don't know if you remember it. I liked this kid when Texas Tech showed up in Gainesville 2 years ago for that regional. Their center fielder, Gage Harrelson. I liked him a lot.
Hmm.
He was a true freshman back then. Um, Good little ball player, left-handed hitter. He's hitting leadoff for him. He transferred from Texas Tech to Florida State this year. He's a junior. He's playing right field for him, hitting 406, 1 home run, 17 RBIs. He's hitting over 1,000 OPS also. So, like I said, he's their leadoff guy. Um, he's having a breakout year for him this year, from what I've heard. So they're very happy with him actually. Um, I'll I'll spotlight a freshman, one of their freshmen who's in their lineup, Miles Bailey. He's
Hmm.
the freshman first baseman, left-handed power hitter. He normally hits fifth or sixth in their lineup. He's hitting 432, Chris, with 3 home runs, 11 RBIs, hitting 1.264 OPS. And then the last guy that I'll spotlight is another transfer for him from last year. Came in from Bama, Max Williams, left-handed power hitter, center fielder. He's a junior, hits third in their lineup. Um, Leads their team with 5 home runs, Chris, hitting 322, 14 RBIs, hitting over 1,000 OPS also. A couple other guys. They got a deep lineup, Chris. Only one of two undefeated teams in the nation. They're 15 and 0. So Billy Barlow's got his hands full. Who do you think comes out of the bullpen after Billy Barlow, Chris, if you were to guess? What do you think
Are
Sully
we going?
does?
It's FSU Tier 1. We're gonna
Tier
go.
one guys?
You're gonna go. And I mean, you can also
We don't know the
make the math.
situation with Frank.
Exactly. You don't know the situation, but we also don't know situational matchups. Are we bringing in Luke McNeely against a lefty with a guy in large scoring position, or are we letting Nico Jansen take him, or you go to Luke McNeely? I think Luke McNeely is the first guy out of the pen because I
I
really
think
don't
first
know if
guy.
I don't really don't know if Jenkins is going to be used in the pen as much anymore. If we're going
No,
to use
you
him on Sunday.
gotta, yeah. You gotta hold them now, man, to see because we don't know what the situation is with Clemente, right? But let's say Clemente's still up in the air. Sully doesn't know anything until let's say Wednesday, Thursday. The trainers, the doctor, the whatever staff will make a decision on Jake for the weekend. Sully's got to take that into consideration. He can't be throwing Jenkins out there on Tuesday if he's going to possibly be the Sunday starter. Um, I'll I'll throw a curveball, Chris. I think first out of the bullpen will be Barbary. How about that? I'll go Jackson Barbary first out of the bullpen. So we'll
Wow.
see. Yeah, so we'll see. But man, I really want to take this game, dude. I really want to win this game, give Florida State their first loss. Um, go into Tennessee with some momentum, man. Because Tennessee's gonna be it's gonna be rough in Tennessee, Chris. That ain't gonna be easy, man. It's a tough first SEC weekend opener for the Gators, man. Go ahead and talk a little bit about Tennessee, Chris. What do you got?
Yeah, so Tennessee right now is throwing their Friday, Saturday. They don't really have a Sunday guy. We can't pinpoint, but I know they like to go to Tegan Hugs. He's only had one game started, but he'll be using a lot on a Sunday. But man, Friday night, all eyes in Knoxville for probably a top 10 showdown pitching wise. 25 because Liam Doyle was eligible this year. Liam Peterson's eligible next year. We got two guys in two different drafts that are top 10 caliber players, pitching wise, first round talent. Liam Doyle is a lefty, throws 96, 99 with a sweeping slider that probably sits around 3,000 RPMs. Don't know the confirmed stats on that, but the sweeping slider is probably like a Chris Sale type pitch. It just devastates the hitters. It just gets in and just keeps going by. And he's been really tough on hitters. Teams are only hitting a buck 95. So I mean, he only has a 0.44 ERA. 20 and one third innings, 6 hits, one earned run, 5 walks, 47 strikeouts. That's, I mean, Florida's
Yeah,
got their hands full with that.
he's been dominant. He's been
You
dominant.
want to know a crazy stat? So how many home runs does Bobby Bozier have this year? 7, right?
7, 8, something like that.
Guess how many Tennessee alone their staff has given up this year?
Staff has given up how many? Oh man,
Combined,
10.
7.
7, huh?
They've given up 7 home runs only as a staff.
Hmm. Do you know how many their offense has?
49.
49, dude. That's quite a spread right there. That's why they're undefeated, Chris, and ranked number one in a lot of polls.
They have like 8 grand slams in 15 games or so. It's insane.
Yeah, I, I saw that. I saw that. But let's go.
That's insane.
Saturday starter. What they got on
Market
Saturday, Chris?
Marcus Phillips. So Liam Doyle throws from the left side, 96, 99. Now let's switch it right over to the right side. Marcus Phillips also 96, 99. Devastating wicked slider. He has a 1.42 ERA. He's 1-0 on the year, 19 innings, 10 hits, 3 earned runs, so two earned more than Doyle, 6 walks, 25 strikeouts. Teams are only hitting 145 off of him. You know, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough against those guys because you're looking, like we like to do righty matchups with our rotation. We can't do that now, but now Tennessee has that lefty righty. Or no, we went righty lefty righty,
Yeah,
but
it's
that
two.
lefty that
It's two.
lefty from 96 to 99 now back to the right side 96 99.
It's two polar opposite looks. What you're getting, one from the left, one from the right, completely polar opposites. You can't get in a groove up there. So, and then it kind of works for them what they do on Sunday, right? Because on Sunday they just throw the kitchen sink at you.
I mean, again, last time they pitched, they only threw 7 innings, 9 guys pitched. So they're throwing
Yeah.
more guys than they played innings.
So that's what they do.
So that's
Do
why
they have
you
an
can't.
hey? Do they have an opener on Sundays or is it just different guys? Have you
So
looked into that?
it's been different. It's been different. But if we go through it, like St. Bonaventure, like they just played, they had somebody else, and then you go to like Sunday against hold on, you go
Because while you're looking that up,
you
because
go to AJ
last year,
Russell. It was the AJ Russell, right?
yeah, okay, so no, last year when they had the opener, it was Stamos, a
Stamos,
left-handed
yep.
pitcher for him, but he was always the opener. He was always the guy who would go out there, and if he was on, he'll give you a couple of innings. And I saw a couple of games where he was off, and Vitello would go hook him like literally after 8 pitches. He would notice that he was throwing balls. Like I guess that he knows him obviously a lot better because he's his coach. But it was hilarious. Like after 8 pitches, he'll go yank him. And you're like,
Hmm.
what the heck, man? But nope, he would just go yank him. And then sometimes he'll be fine and he'll give you a couple of innings. But it was always Stamos who was their opener. So they're just going with different guys on Sunday. So you can't even key on who's going to start for them if you're like the
So
opposing.
if you kind of look at it, they've thrown um Brandon Arvidsson, but he's been in a starting role one time, but he also came out of the pen the next Sunday. Like they threw Keegan Tuggs started that game. Then they had who else do they have? They had one other guy start the Sunday before, and then Brandon Arvidsson started last Sunday. When he went 2 innings. Hugs went 2 innings one time. So really, they're just bullpen on
Mm,
Sundays. It's just
wow.
really. But they also have Nate Snead.
Well, I
Guy's
was
been
gonna
there.
mention that. I was gonna mention that you hope that on Friday and Saturday, some way, somehow, you could get into that bullpen and have them use up Snead, have them because then you feel like Sunday is your best chance to maybe get them. Sunday, if they've used up, Snead coming out of the pen, a couple of their
Hmm.
top arms to get you on Friday and Saturday, you're hoping Sunday that they're already going on a bullpen day. You could get to, two or three of those arms coming out of the bullpen that you could get to them. So that's kind of like what you hope your strategy is.
Hmm.
I mean, Liam Doyle's the type of pitcher that, man, I tell everybody go up there and take a strike. At least just get his pitch count up. You know what I'm saying? Get
Hmm.
his pitch count up. Get him out of there, dude. Get him out of there, man. Get him up to 90, 95 pitches. Get him out of there, dude. So we'll see what approach we take. Um, you know, guys got to be geared up for that fastball, man. You got to just spit on the slider and just gear up for their fastball. That's what the approach that I would take if I was these guys. Okay. And go with it. Tony Vitalo, I read a story last year. Ole Miss went to Tennessee, and Chris Moore, who was their stud second baseman
Hmm.
last year, who's Major League Baseball draft pick, was the leadoff hitter, faced Liam Doyle. Liam Doyle struck him out, and then coming back to the bench as he's walking into the bench, into the
Sorry.
dugout, Vitello says that Moore just looked at the rest of his teammates and went, "Good luck," as he's putting the bat away. Good luck, because of Liam Doyle's stuff that day. So just get his pitch count up, get him out of there, man.
Do you see
Don't
a
be swinging
lineup
at first
change?
pitches, dude. Haven't we had like a different lineup almost every game? So who knows, man? Who knows what the lineup's gonna be?
Do you
I think you're pretty much set right now at Bozer 2 hole, Shelton 3 hole, Donay Ford, Lawson 5. I think you're pretty much set there, right? Lead off, I think you got to go with Nadu right now. Lead off spot.
I
That's
still don't like a lefty on a Friday. I mean, because with Doyle as a lefty
Is there
too.
a righty that you would put in the leadoff spot?
No, there's really
No.
no. It's only Nadeau or Yost right now.
I would keep
It,
Bozer right where he's at. He's doing fine.
yeah,
So we'll see, man. But Tony Vitello, man, listen, Chris, Tony Vitello, he's found the secret sauce right now, dude. Okay? They won the national championship last year. He's got that little secret sauce right now where he has homegrown talent, okay, in their junior, senior years. Yeah, money, hey, but everybody's got the money, right? Hey, that's not an excuse. He's got the homegrown talent coming up for for their junior, senior years. Last year it was Blake Burke and Chris Moore.
hmm
This year, Hunter Ensley, Dean Curley. Okay, these are homegrown guys, and then he supplements with the transfer portal, but he's hitting on the cream of the crop in the transfer portal. Now, yeah, that's where the money sign comes into play probably. And I'll tell you right now, they've outbid us for some players, okay, that have been wearing
maybe
the
even their
Tennessee uniform
Friday
since,
starter.
yeah, maybe even him, maybe even a guy that I'm going to talk about here, maybe last year, a certain third baseman by the name of Billy Amick, okay, all
Hmm.
that. They've outbid us when you had a good feeling that a guy was going to make it to Gainesville. So, hey, more power to them, man. That's the name of the game, and that's what they're playing. And they won a national championship last year. And if you had me repick my pick this year, my pick to start the season was Texas A&M, right? If I had to repick it now, they're my pick for the national champion right now. Easy, Tennessee. So we'll see back to back. Hopefully I'm wrong. But Chris, check out these numbers, man. Their team batting average is 348. Okay. They've hit 49 home runs, have an OPS, a team OPS of 1.200. Now, by comparison, now the Gators are having a good offensive year also, right? But our team
Mhm.
batting average is 336 with 28 home runs compared to 49, and our team OPS is 1.018. So not crazy far off, but for those power numbers. Those power numbers are pretty striking, man. They, they have some serious power in that lineup. I'm just gonna highlight four guys, Chris. I'm gonna highlight four guys, but literally their lineup is 1 through 9. All right. It's a 1 through 9 lineup. But I'll just start right off the bat with those two homegrown talents that they have. Dean Curley, he's hitting leadoff for him, shortstop. He's a draft eligible sophomore, probably going to be a first round draft pick. Right-handed hitter. He's hitting 346, 6 home runs, 16 RBIs. His OPS is 1.213. Um, Big guy, tall guy for a shortstop, especially. Tall guy, power hitter. You know, people talk about Tennessee's ballpark, and it's small, Chris. It's a bandbox. 390 center field, 360, 365 the alleys. Okay, so it's a small park, man. So that's why some people say that maybe their power numbers are somewhat skewed. But someone says that you got to do a comparison on their home runs and see the distance and if they would be also home runs in other SEC ballparks. And someone said that they did do that and that they still come out as home runs, man. So they're hitting bombs, Chris. They're hitting bombs, okay? They're not hitting wall scrapers here, man.
Well,
Uh
just look at the weekend they had at the Astros.
yeah,
Freaking Killian hit 4 home runs there.
correct.
They
Good
should have just
point.
signed him right there. They should have just signed him at for the Astros right there. All right, get him out. We don't need him this week.
That would have been good for us, yeah, for sure. Hey, Hunter Ensley. This guy's a senior. A lot of people were surprised that he came back. He
Mm-hmm.
was the guy who in the College World Series last year had that highlight play where he ran into the wall. I mean, at full speed over at the College World Series. You remember that
He
catch?
did it again. He just did it last week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great defensive center fielder. The guy plays with zero regard. I mean, he'll just go headlong into a wall, whatever it takes,
Mm-hmm.
man. Good, good, gutsy ball player. I'm sure he's their team leader. He's probably one of the guys that everybody looks up to. He's hitting third in the lineup. Like I said, senior center fielder, right-handed hitter, hitting 333, 2 home runs, 16 RBIs, just a tick under 1,000 OPS. So those are their two homegrown talents. They hit it out of the park with the transfer portal. I'm just going to talk about Gavin Killen real quick. Louisville transfer. Um, Rumored early on in the portal season here that he had it. I think he visited here, if I'm not mistaken. He visited Gainesville. So there was a chance that we could have got him. Uh, Couple scout buddies of mine tells me he's the best hitter in the nation. All right, best hitter in the nation. Junior, second baseman, left-handed hitter. He hits second in the lineup for him, hitting 463, Chris. He leads the team with 8 home runs, 22 RBIs, and an OPS of 1.682. That's high, man.
Did you just say
1.68.
1.6?
Yeah, man. He's uh he's a hitting machine, dude. Gavin Killen. So you got to be careful with him, Chris, because right now he just has a stroke and he's just hitting the lights out of it, man. He's on a hot streak right now. Uh, there's transfers galore here, dude. Andrew Fisher, Ole Miss transfer. Hey, he plays first base for him. Couple of transfers from last year that were part-time players last year are now full-time players this year. One of them is a guy that I liked a lot. He was Dalton Bargo, Missouri transfer from last year for him. Last year he barely played. A certain guy, Blake Burke, was playing first base ahead of him. But
Hmm.
Bargo's now the full-time starter, first base there. He's got a good stroke, man. Or outfield. He plays outfield, first base, DH because Andrew Fisher's playing
Fisher went
first base
first.
also. Yeah, so Bargo, left-handed power hitter. You got Cannon Peoples, who's a switch hitting catcher.
What NC
He was
State?
supposed to NC State transfer
Yep.
from last year. He was supposed to last year take over that cashing position, but kind of he had a rough start to the season, and then they had a senior guy, kind of like a glue guy who was their catcher. So Cannon Peoples really didn't get much into the lineup. He played some, but wasn't a full-time starter. He's a full-time starter this year, Chris. He's having a big year also. They have a freshman who's in the lineup, probably going to be freshman of the year in the SEC. So homegrown talent, transfer talent galore, and then they get a true freshman who's probably going to be freshman of the year. Okay, Levi Clark.
That dude's
Okay,
insane.
freshman hitting DH for him, right-handed power hitter, hitting 513, Chris. 513, 6 home runs, 23 RBIs. His OPS, are you ready for this?
Has to be.
1.713
I was gonna say
is his
2000, but
OPS.
wow.
Close. 1.713. Okay, and that's their freshman, dude. He's hitting like fifth in the lineup. Provide a little protection to their four-hole hitter. Andrew Fisher's normally hitting four-hole. So that's their lineup, dude. Um, Chris, they have 11 guys hitting over 1,000 OPS. Now, some of them have, low at bat numbers, obviously, but they got 11 guys over 1,000 OPS. Multiple scouts have told me that this is the best team in the nation that they've seen. Okay, I've had a bunch of scouts tell me that. Bunch of scouts have told me Gavin Killen's the best hitter, best pure hitter in the draft this year is Gavin Killen. Um, does he project now? See, this is where the draft gets wonky, right? He projects as a second baseman. He doesn't project as a shortstop. So that
Mhm.
might hurt him in the draft, okay, with regards to MLB teams. But I've had buddies tell me he is the best pure hitter in the draft this year, period. Um, And then you got the road environment of Tennessee. They're going to be celebrating their uh their national championship for the first
Yep.
SEC weekend. The hated Gators come into town. They hate the Gators, trust me. Their fans are going to get on our pitching staff from the bullpen all the way to the mound. So it's going to test Liam Peterson, right? That mental toughness that you hope he's turned that corner this year. So far, so good, right? It's going to test them. That's the first road test for a guy like Liam Peterson this year, for all those freshmen that are coming out of the bullpen, Chris. This is their
Hmm.
first big road test, obviously. Okay. Um, the road environment there is going to be wild, man. We don't know the status of Jay Clemente. We don't know the status of Curlin. I pretty much guaranteed that Coppola's not going to pitch. And then the Frankie situation kind of there scares me there with what Sully said post game the other day. So we don't know all these situations, man. So what do you think about that, man? What do you think about this Tennessee week?
It's weird because we went into Tennessee 2 years ago and we took 2 out of 3, and we made it look really good. And then they came in last year
Took two out
and
of three.
2 out of 3 against us.
And
This,
didn't they run rule us on Sunday?
yeah, that was a bad one. It just got out of hand
It's
quick.
a bad one. That was a bad one.
I think we were weren't we? I think we were winning. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not, can't keep track of all the games from last year, but I want to say we just lost it in 1 inning. Oh, we lost in the 6th inning where we gave up 10 runs. I
Uh-huh.
remember that. We gave up 10 runs, and I think in the sixth, they just I think they hit like 4 home runs. I don't know. Are you looking it up?
I'm looking to see who their hitting coach is, dude. I think it's Josh Elander,
He's good. Their hitting coach.
but it's Josh Elander, but I don't know how he hasn't gotten a pro job. I mean, not a pro job, but I don't know how he hasn't gotten a head head coaching gig because they've had unbelievable hitting teams for like 4 years in a row, Chris.
I mean,
Basically since Vitello's been there, and he's
Tennessee's
their
got the
hitting coach.
money. Maybe he's getting paid like maybe
Hey,
he's getting paid a little
listen,
bit more.
I don't care about money, man. It's different players, it's
Experience. Yeah.
transfers, it is homegrown
No, no, no.
talent,
I'm
and
not talking about
they
that.
have great hitting
Right.
teams every year.
No, I'm
So
saying that
I'm
Tennessee
surprised.
might pay him as an assistant a little
Oh,
bit more
got it,
to
got it.
be able to probably get a little bit more experience. But I mean, he needs to take a head coaching job pretty soon. The guy's
I mean,
got a
you
lot
would
of
think
talent in his toolbox to
you
be able to get these
you
hitters
would
right.
think, man, you would think that a coaching gig, a head coaching gig, to have your own gig, you would have got. Maybe he's a bad interviewer, dude. Maybe he just doesn't interview that good. Who knows, man? But yeah, Josh Elander has been there with Tony Vitello, and they could rake, man. They rake almost every year, man. They have
Tennessee's got a
a
student
really
section too.
talented hitting team.
Tennessee
They
has
have a student
they have a
section.
student section right there at first base. They're all going to be heckling the whole
That's
time.
right. It's right next to first base there, so
Hmm.
they're gonna get on good old Brendan Lawson. You know,
Is he
he's
going to
gonna
play?
go from Florida State, Lawson. Well, if he plays Florida State, right? I mean, if he plays first base, but he's gonna go Florida State. You know, Florida State has this tradition. I don't know if you're aware of it, but Lawson might be confused. In the seventh inning stretch, I believe it's a seventh inning stretch. There might be Florida State fans that will correct me. But instead of doing Take Me Out to the Ballpark, they sing the Canadian national anthem. Did you know that?
Really? No.
Yeah. They they sing the O Canada Canadian national anthem.
Maybe Sullivan will tell him.
I don't know. I heard why they do that, but I forgot. I forgot the story behind it, the
Wouldn't it be
backstory.
make it even memorable if if he leads off or well, it's actually going to the bottom of the seventh. Never mind. Somebody's at the top of the eighth or something like that. He's coming up and they're singing "Oh Canada" and
But he's gonna be confused. He's gonna be confused. He's gonna be like, "They singing that for me?" So he's gonna go like, "Wow, these are really nice fans singing my national anthem." And then
or
he's
he
gonna go to
makes yeah.
Tennessee.
And
And
then
then
he
he's
goes to
gonna go to
Tennessee
Tennessee.
and
And
get
Tennessee's
heckled.
not gonna sing him his national anthem, bro.
There's going to be some vulgar words.
Chris, it's come to that time, man. And what are your picks for this week, Chris? Give me the games.
Um,
The games. Florida State, then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What do you see as far as W and L's for those games?
4 games this week. 3-1. I think we. I'm optimistic, but I don't know. I got a little hunch on me a little bit that things
Three and one.
Florida beats FSU. Florida wins a pitcher's matchup on Friday night. I think we test Tennessee's bullpen because after the fifth inning, about Boyle only usually goes five, maybe six. I think Florida can if they can get into the bullpen, keep it low scoring on Friday. I think they can take it. I think we can rely on the back of the bullpen to do well. I'm just believing that Liam Peterson took that next step in mental toughness. I think Saturday might be a tough one. I don't know. I'm thinking of it off the top of my head right now. I think freshman wise, I want to say Lee or Aiden has that mature approach to go into a hostile environment like that. But I think Tennessee is just a really good lineup. But shocker, Florida beats Tennessee on Saturday. I think we lose a Sunday matchup. I think Aiden King actually does pitch really well.
Yeah.
Had to
So
rope you in a little bit, thinking that he's not gonna have.
three
But
and
no,
one.
I
So you
think
have 3 and 1.
yeah,
Gators 3 and 1. I got
I
three
think
and
they
one also.
shocked. But you have it the opposite way.
I got it like this.
Yeah. All
I
right.
got
What's your
one
one
and
win?
three. I think Florida State beats us on Tuesday. It's in
Hmm.
Tallahassee too, man. So I think Florida State beats us on
Hey,
Tuesday.
Kevin O'Sullivan is 9-8 on the road at FSU. Let's make it
You know,
10.
I miss that Martin family. I wish that like one of them Martins either had another kid or something, or like, the son had a kid or something that could be the head coach. I miss that Martin family, dude. I really do. Um, But yeah, I think Florida State wins on Tuesday. Man, I think Tennessee wins Friday, Saturday, and I think Florida takes the Sunday game.
Hmm.
I think it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I make honest predictions on here, Chris. You know that. Very rarely do I let my emotions get the best of me. So I think it'll be 1-3 week, but that's fine. That's not the end of the
It's
world.
not the end of the world.
Let's
And
get
if 1-3
let's get
happens, 1-3 happens.
I mean, heck, we don't even know what our pitching lineup's going to be for the weekend, right? So let's get Jake back healthy. Let's get Aiden. I mean, listen, it is a lot to ask of a true freshman, dude.
Freshman.
Okay, it is a lot to ask. If Aiden could give me 5 innings, get some experience in that environment on Saturday, I'll be happy, dude. Whatever happens, dude. If he gets roughed up for a few runs, you know, I'll be happy. Give him
Hmm.
5 innings in that environment. It's just gonna make him so much better for the rest of this season, man. So take it like that. And before we check out, softball, man, the softball team. How about that, dude? Did you see that two
Two
out
out
of
of
three
three. Did you see
that they took from Texas
Falvey's
A&M?
weekend? Falvey's weekend was in that rob of the Grand Slam.
Now,
Hey,
a little bad news though. I was listening to because I hadn't heard anything about Keegan Rothrock.
Rothrock. Yep.
So Shane this morning said that she's probably going to be out for about 2 or 3 weeks. That's what he said this
You know
morning.
what? Elbow? Elbow?
I have no idea what it is. He didn't say, so I have no clue. Softball injuries aren't really like reported a lot,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think. Do we even have like a softball beat writer? I don't know. But heck, you just took 2 out of 3 from Texas A&M, Chris, and now guess who you play next week? Texas, the number one team in the nation. But at least that's at home. Okay,
Hmm.
but to take 2 out of 3 at Texas A&M was pretty sweet. Again, you just want to ride this 2 or 3 weeks without Keegan Rothrock, and they'll be fine. They got a really good hitting lineup, dude. My God, those girls hit the crap out of that ball, dude, man. So many good hitters.
One last thing on softball we didn't mention, but Tim Walton hit the 1,000 mark wins.
Yeah, 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 man. He's a goat,
That's
man. He's one heck of a career here at the University of Florida, dude.
I mean
Got some really good players.
just the talent level. And also we don't really talk too much, but March Madness starts next week. We had a chance at Coach of the Year. We had a chance at Defensive Player of the Year, Six Man of the Year. Came
They
short
got
on all.
snubbed. They got snubbed. A lot of disrespect, Chris. A lot of disrespect, man.
You think the defensive intensity takes
I
another
think this
level
team,
now? I think.
I think this team's gonna be pissed, man. I think,
Hmm.
I think they all love Todd Golden. Okay, Todd Golden's pretty much, you know, he's a player's coach. You could tell.
Hmm.
That's one of the reasons that I think Strickland made that hire. You see a lot of people going to having, to hiring that like younger type of coach now, especially in this NIL portal era. You need that, what they like to call relate to the player type of coach, right?
Hmm.
So these players really love their coach, I think, man. They really play for him. They're gonna be pissed off that he didn't get coach of the year. They're gonna be pissed off that Hoke didn't get sixth man of the year. They're gonna be pissed off that Elijah Martin didn't get on any one of the on first team defensive
Like,
SEC.
how do you not
But
have him in there?
um,
But
so
congrats to
like
Walter Clayton on the All SEC first team, and then Condon was third team.
yeah,
Like,
they
was it because
Condon, yeah, Condon made third
Condon was on
team.
the, but was it just because he was hurt or something? But I mean, he puts up stats like
No,
he's a
just
first round
snub,
pick.
just snub. Hey, it's lack of respect. Just like we should be a lock number one seed, and they still have us there hanging on. They want to say Alabama or Tennessee if they make a run in the SEC tournament and have a chance. These guys hear all that stuff, man. So I think they're gonna be pissed off, dude.
Did you see what one of the
But
AP voters had us at?
16, right? I saw that. Yeah, I saw it.
16 and
That's
Duke at
crazy.
17.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's crazy.
Like these are the
Personally,
guys that
that
are
should have their
making,
vote.
but
They should have their
these
vote
are,
taken from.
yeah, that's a crime. That should be a
But,
crime in
you know,
America.
I really don't want to see, honestly, Florida make a run in the SEC tournament all the way to the championship game. I think if they win on Friday, no matter what happens on Saturday, I think they secured the one seed. You know, um, I'd
And they can
rather
get
have them.
revenge.
Yeah, but man,
No, they can get revenge on Missouri, the Missouri
oh
game,
yeah,
because
Friday, Friday,
they'll play the winner on the
correct.
Friday.
And then because so uh, I saw this tweet. Someone had a tweet out there about the last SEC tournaments teams that went to the final that played on Sunday and what their result was in the tournament. And there was a lot of first round, second round exits, man.
That was
Okay.
last year.
Yeah, so I don't know. I would be happy just Friday, Saturday, check out and go home,
Hmm.
relax, and get ready for the tournament, dude. Make a run. So
Hmm.
we'll see. It should be fun, man. It should be fun. A lot of fun
Yeah.
next week. So this week is the SEC tournament. We're at Tennessee. Then next week is the first two rounds of the NCAA tournament, and we're at home, right? Who comes home? Who's our first week? You got the schedule there real quick, Chris? Who's our first week? I'm just curious now.
Are you talking about on
Sorry.
Tuesday?
No, our first SEC week at home, baseball.
I think
Next
it's
week.
next week. Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now.
Should be next week. Who is it? Georgia? No. Is it
Yeah,
Georgia?
Georgia. Yep,
It
Georgia.
is Georgia.
Yep,
Ooh, wow.
Georgia.
Man, how about that? To
Oh,
start the SEC season, Tennessee and Georgia back-to-back weeks. Yikes. Man,
I'm
that's a
not
rough
too fond on
schedule.
Georgia.
That's a rough schedule.
I'm not too
So we'll
fond on
see.
Georgia. Have you seen that
You don't
picture
like Georgia?
actually? Like, no.
You're
Have you
not a
seen
big
that
fan?
picture from Georgia? That cocky, arrogant dude?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people like
Sure.
him. Slosh likes him.
We'll see.
D1 baseball.
All right, man. So anyways, let's wrap this bad boy up. 3-1 for the week. 1-3 for the week. I'm the bad guy. Tony Montana, say goodnight to the bad guy right here.
Hey, but somehow
Okay?
the bad guys 1-0 on prediction. So here we go.
Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully you tie it up this week. So
Yep.
we'll see, man. All right,
But
man. Get us
yeah.
out of here.
Hey, thanks everybody for watching. If you're
Okay.
on YouTube, subscribe to us, leave a comment, anything you want to talk about, we can answer on the next pod. Spotify, you can also drop us a rating, 5 stars if you really like us. 1 star for the bad guy over there that wants us 1-3. Just kidding. But thank you guys for all the support. We are so close to 2,500 on X. We are, I think, 2 followers away. I want to say 2 followers. So that's thank you guys for keep supporting us and all you do. We'll catch you next week. 3-0, 3-1 to speak to the Gators. We got that. Go Gators.
Go Gators.